Joining me today is an award-winning novelist, a playwright, and an essayist and screenwriter. His plays have been produced on and off Broadway and around the world. He's a regular contributor to The New Yorker, and you may have seen some more of his work in The New York Times, Esquire, and Vanity Fair, to name a few. His screenplays include a little movie called Sister Act and Addams Family Values. And now he has a new book out called Playing the Palace. Paul Rudnick, welcome to the middle.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about the book without giving too much away.
All right. Well, it is an all-out romantic comedy. I wanted to just write just a pure celebration of love and humor and the most unlikely relationship between Carter Ogden, who is a New York event planner, and Prince Edgar, who's the Crown Prince of England. So it's the kind of couple that could only somehow manage to meet in Manhattan, and they take it from there. So I just thought, after everything we've all in the world have been through for the past, however many years, I wanted an escape. So that's how this all came to be.
And it absolutely is. I am enjoying it so much. So I guess tell me why it was important for you to tell a gay love story that has a happily ever after.
Well, because I think there have been so many gay stories that are completely valid and very necessary, that are about prejudice and trauma and the coming out process and people being rejected often by their families. But I thought those aren't the only stories. And I know so many people who are leading, the most delighted openly gay lives. And that's what I wanted to reflect. I thought, no, let's have being gay be a given and take it from there. So this is about two guys who could not be more out and more happy about it. So it just felt like fresh air.
I agree. And I feel like after reading, I want more of this. Like I want more stories like this. I feel like the positivity, and maybe that's just with everything going on in the world, that need for escape, that need for happiness. There's enough bad in real life that I feel like I need to indulge my subconscious in happy. So thank you for adding to more of that.
Oh, you are very welcome. I mean, I think you can strike a balance between the two, that you don't need to ignore either end of the spectrum. But yeah, it was sort of delightful to enter that world and say, okay, we know there's going to be a happy ending for once. And then I could share that with the reader.
Now, with your experience, do you see this being adapted to either the stage or the screen?
Well, either is great with me. I'm loving it as a book, although I will say that the wonderful actor Michael Urie, who people may know from Ugly Betty, from Byron Stellar off Broadway, he just recorded the audio version of Playing the Palace, and he's just magnificent. So who knows where the world will take this story, but I'm open to everything.
Now, if that were to happen, would you want to be hands-on with that, or would you rather just give it over to someone else and have them decide what to do?
That is a very good question, because I always have that debate on other projects where on one hand you think, no, let someone else have fresh eyes on it. I wrote it this way because this was where I wanted the material to land. On the other hand, I'm very protective. So you want your baby to have, the very best possible home. So I figure I'll deal with that if and when it happens, but I certainly want to be involved on some level.
Okay, good. Now, are you still working on the book for the musical adaptation of Devil Wears Prada?
I am, along with the wonderful writer Kate Weatherhead, and a great team. Elton John is doing the score, and a wonderful lyricist named Shana Taub is doing the lyrics. And it's for the future. It will try out next summer in Chicago. Okay. So musicals take a while. It's a process with a lot of moving pieces, but I think it could be wonderful. So we'll see. To knock on everything.
Yes, knocking on everything too. Devil Wears Prada is one of my favorite movies. Like at first it was guilty pleasure, and now I'm shouting it from the rooftops. It's one of those that if it's on TV, I'm watching it. If I'm on a plane and it's an option, I'm watching it. So I cannot wait to see the music and everything. I'm just so excited.
I'm so glad. I think a lot of people share that sort of passion for the material. And there were many writers who worked on the movie, and I was one of them. The wonderful screenwriter Eileen Brosh McKenna did the final draft, and I think did just a magnificent job. But so I knew the material early on from Lauren Weisberger's novel, and I always thought it felt like a musical, because it's got these larger than life characters. It's got these great roles for women. And I thought, oh, okay, someday. So it's great to see it's coming together.
And the music in the movie is great too. I
Oh,
always
yeah.
notice that the score is really good. Okay, so with the return of Broadway this fall, do you think there is going to be a sort of renaissance in New York City?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's already underway. I mean, I can't imagine the joy, because a few weeks ago, there's a group called New York Pops Up, which is about sort of gradually welcoming audiences back to live performances. And I wrote a monologue that the wonderful Nathan Lane performed at the St. James Theater, a big Broadway house. It was a limited audience, all invited healthcare workers and theater workers who'd been furloughed. So we were all, sitting a good few feet apart with masks. And Savion Glover performed as well. It was so thrilling. And you just have that sense of people missing the live event, that, Zoom and Netflix and everything are great, but that there is nothing like being there and seeing a Nathan Lane or a Savion Glover or a Hugh Jackman or a Sutton Foster. So I think when those shows start up again, which are now all being scheduled for mostly for the fall, but that's pretty soon, I think the roof is going to blow off. And you can even see, I know from being in New York, just the streets, everything is getting far more back to normal. And there's a real sense of community relief and happiness that, oh my God, look, other people.
Yes.
So yeah,
no,
so I can't
chills.
wait.
I got chills when you were just explaining that. I feel like we are so, especially as a Broadway lover, we're craving it so much. So I think that it's one of those things that, not that we took it for granted. I'm always so grateful to live here and to be here and to have this here. But to have it all stripped away and now to be getting it back, there's just something like, I feel like the gratitude is going to make it all that much more wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. I think that everybody's found sort of amazingly inventive ways to compensate over the past year or more, but nothing replaces that sense of, when you hear the music, when you've got people next to you, where there's a level of excitement that you just don't get anywhere else. And I grew up in New Jersey as well, and coming into New York for the theater was the ultimate gift. Although I also did lots of theater in New Jersey too. So it was, I so miss it, and I could tell so many people do as well.
So you've done so much in your career, and I'm sure so much more is to come. For you, what has been like the major highlight? What is the thing that makes you so happy that it happened when you're thinking about when you're going to sleep at night?
Oh my God, there have been some wonderful peaks in my life. And there was a play I wrote called Jeffrey, which was at the height of the AIDS crisis, where I wanted to talk about what was going on all around me. And I also, oddly enough, wanted a romance at the center of it, because I wanted that sense of ongoing life. And Jeffrey was seen as very dangerous at the time. It was turned down by every theater in New York, all across the country. Started with a little 2-week run off Broadway, and then ended up doing very well. It moved for a commercial run. It became a movie with Patrick Stewart and Sigourney Weaver and all sorts of people. So it was the most unexpected event in my life. And it was some of the first work I was genuinely proud of, and that I felt was reaching an audience in a sort of deeply emotional way. So that's the kind of thing where early in anyone's career, you remember it. You feel like, oh, okay, that was my voice. That's when things came together. That's when, at the first preview, my mother was very nervous about it.
Okay.
And I sat a few rows behind her, and I watched her shoulders gradually relax.
Oh.
So it was, that was big. And there have been wonderful times since then, but that was a sort of pivot point where I thought, oh, okay, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, I love that. So I feel like a multi-hyphenate like yourself is always working on several things at once. So do you have anything coming up that you're excited about that is not out in the world yet? Like any inside scoop you can give me?
Oh, I am way too superstitious. Whenever I hear myself talking about, projects that are still just on the computer or on the typewriter, I think, oh my God, that sounds awful. Paul, shut up.
Okay.
But I'm thrilled about playing the Palace and about Prada. And there was some other movie and TV stuff in the works, and I have a piece in the New Yorker this week. So, so yeah, it is good. I think it's something that everyone's kind of learned in the age of the internet, the whole gig economy thing, but writers kind of knew it early on. You want to keep a lot of sort of plates in the air. That I love being able to jump from one medium to the next and from one audience to the next. So, so yeah, there's stuff on the horizon.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the book is called Playing the Palace. Everyone needs to read it because it's so good. If we want to follow you on Instagram, what is your handle? Put it up.
I am on Instagram, but in a slightly more minimal way. I'm on Twitter at Paul Rudnick at NY. I have my website, paulrudnick.com. I think on Instagram, if you just look up Paul Rudnick, you will find me.
Awesome. Paul, it was so nice talking to you. Thank you so much. And congratulations on all of your current and continued success.
Oh, thank you so much. And what a treat to be here today.